In some mini app and that of the Telegram, I discovered that some mini app actually give out some special tasks, such as joining a particular channel on that of the Telegram. And just because we're all already even tired of joining too many channels, once we click on join channel and then it takes us to that particular channel, we end up not joining it and then try to come back to the mini app and then wants to claim the reward. And I discovered that some of them may not even know what is going on. They may give you the reward, but there are some special Telegram mini app that actually checks to know whether you really joined or not. And we often wonder, how are they actually checking that? How did they know that I did not actually join this particular channel? So I want to show you guys the endpoint that Telegram actually gives them to be able to check whether people really joined the channel or not. So if we do have a task right here, so if I hit on the task tab in here and I want to check, so you see that we do have some tasks right here. Okay, I don't think I have look, I think I kept that on this particular tab right here. I have task 2 right here just for demo purpose. So here you see that we have subscribe to Kalama coin channel right here, and to just basically get something like 10 points, and all you need to do is to hit on where it says perform task. And once you hit on that, let me hit on that right, and I see that it opens up the channel right here. All right, so I'm already a member of the channel, so you can't actually find a join button on this particular page. But if you try to access this particular mini app right now and click on that link, it's going to take you to this particular place. All right, so I'm going to go back right now to my mini app, and you see that the button right here actually changes to verify. So with this one, you can hit on verify and it tries to verify. See, once it finishes verifying, it's going to tell you that the verification was actually successful, and then you can now go ahead and then claim your reward right here. Okay, so this is just like an example of what I want to like show you guys how to actually do on this particular video right here. All right, so even though I'm not going to actually build it with this particular mini app, I'm just want to expose how this particular endpoint that they actually use to do this, how it works. Okay, and then you can go ahead and then build your own using that particular endpoint. So without wasting more time, let's dive right into our coding environment and then see how we can actually build that. Maybe later I will show you the code of this particular one that I built right here, so that if you want to replicate that, you can actually go on and do that. So let's go right into our computer and then see how we can actually build such a thing. I just want to expose the endpoint for you to you guys, so that if you want to build something useful with it, you can actually go ahead and do that, so that people won't actually be claiming points that they really did not actually join your channel. So let's go ahead and do that right now, guys. At first, let's go ahead and create a folder for what you want to do. So let's go ahead and call it join underscore tele, something of that nature. That tele right there just simply means a Telegram. All right, and just do know that I actually created this in my XAMPP folder. This is my htdoc. So I want to open this up right now with my Visual Studio Code. So if we go to show more options, I want to open that up with my Visual Studio Code, and it's completely empty right now. There's nothing in it, but we can create a file inside of it. Maybe we're going to just basically call that index.php. Now open that up, and that's just basically what we'll go right here. So we want to work on this right now, and the first thing I want to do, let's throw in our PHP tag right here, and I want to first of all set my header. I just basically want to set the content type something like application JSON, and to do that we're going to just do header, and we're going to just go ahead and then do this. I'm going to put that in bracket, and I'm going to just say content dash type application / JSON. All right, so we have that right there set to application JSON. Want to terminate that line, and then the next one I want to do, I want to put a comment in here and just say let's say set your bot, which means your bot token. And to do that, I want to basically create this is going to be a variable for that. So we'll do bot token, and I want to basically put that in bracket. It's going to be in this particular bracket. I'm going to get that in a jiffy and then put that right there. But another thing that we want to do is to basically get our the channel name. Okay, so to get the channel name, I'm going to just put that in a variable and just say channel, and we're going to just go ahead and just do channel. Maybe we should just call it something like channel ID, and we can go ahead and decide that to be equal to the channel name right here, which I'm basically going to, I think I've actually really created this, which you have already seen from my demo. From my demos, who will have something like Kalama coin. So that's just basically the channel name right there. And if you want to create a channel, I believe you already know how to do that, but maybe I'm going to just basically show you at the end of this video so that you can see how that is actually created. All right, so but we do have our channel ID right there created, and I want to terminate that line. And the next one is actually the user ID, because of the user that is basically going to join the channel. So let's say set the user ID. So this is just basically going to be a comment. So let's convert that to a comment, and we want to go ahead and then create that right here. So I'm going to put that in a variable, and then we can go ahead and then set that. I'm going to just basically send that to, I'm going to just go ahead and enter an ID right here. I'm going to hard code that, but assuming that you're actually online right now, what you should just do is to basically grab this from that of your Telegram. All right, so you have access to people's Telegram username and their ID, so you can grab onto the ID dynamically and then place it right here. Okay, so that's just basically what that is actually going to be. So the next thing I want to bring right here is the endpoint, where you can actually test to check who is actually already a member of a particular channel or not. Okay, so let's just say get, or we could just call this build the URL or slash endpoint for membership. All right, and to do that, I'm going to just basically copy and paste that right here, and then I will explain that a little bit. All right, so we do have a variable that we just call the URL right here, and it just basically want to go to this particular endpoint to be able to grab onto whatever that is actually happening within a channel. And right here, you can agree with me with that we do have this variable really present within this page, which is up here, this particular variable called a bot token. And then after that, we're going to get chat member, and we are basically going to need the chat ID, which we already got right here, that we call the @Kalamacoin. And after that, is also going to need something like a user ID, which we've also made a provision for that right here. Okay, so those are the few things that we're basically going to need to be able to do that. So this is the endpoint that you need, and remember, this is going to actually be unique, so you have to build the software in such a way that you should dynamically be able to get like the user's ID right here. Okay, and of course this one is actually going to stay the same because it's just basically your own channel that you are going to basically enter right here. You're not going to enter my own. This is my own Kalamacoin, and that is just that. And also you need to enter your own bot token right here. I'm not going to basically use my own, so but I'm going to bring in my own right here just for this video, for the purpose of this video. So do make sure that you make use of yours. So let me get the bot token. All right, so I do have my bot token right here. Let me go ahead and copy and paste that right there. So this is the token that I have generated from where I created my bot. All right, so we'll have that right there, and the next thing we need is going to be a user ID. So I'm going to look for a user that really exists and then try to, so if we go to, I want to go to my dashboard, my database, and these are the few people that I already have in my database. So let me just copy one of them. I'm going to copy this person, and I think I've already removed this person from my channel at this particular moment, so we should probably like see a message that says that this person isn't actually a member. I think I kicked this particular person out before recording this video, but for now let's just go ahead and then put that person right here. So this is the ID that we're going to basically also use, so we'll have that person right there. So the next thing we want to do right now is to go ahead and then integrate the API down here. So let's put a comment and just say integrate the API, and I'm going to use CORL right here, which is CURL. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so to do the integration or connect to this particular endpoint, we're going to use CORL, just like we said. I want to paste that right here, and that kind of began from here. So initially I'm just trying to initialize the CURL, just initializing the session, and here I'm just turning off mandatory SSL checker because I'm going to be testing this offline, so I wouldn't actually need this right now. And if you're actually online, you can turn this to something like true. All right, but now that we're actually offline, I want to turn that off right here. Okay, so that's just what that is. I'm just building the URL right here and trying to get the data that has been returned, and right here I'm just basically trying to execute the code right here. Okay, so I do have a variable right here, so this particular session I'm going to go ahead and execute that right here, and if I do that, we can go ahead and then I kind of dump the message on the screen for access with this particular line that is actually called var dump right here. And if I get any errors, we can go ahead and then print this particular message out for access right here. All right, and then otherwise, if I don't have any errors, we can go ahead and then create a new variable called the data, and we can make use of this data to do whatever that we basically want to do. All right, so that's just basically what that is, and I hope it's simple enough, right? So at this moment, we should be able to, like, if we test the application, we should be able to see some kind of a result. All right, so let me just try that right here. So if I go to a new tab, I want to go to localhost, and we just call that join. We call it join_tele, and I want to open that up. And as you can see, we do have a result right here. Okay, so it's actually set to true right here. But then if you look at the user object right here, we're going to see something. We do have that particular ID that we used right there, and we'll have the person's name, which is Mekasia, and Malay right here for the person's last name. This is the person's username, and then we'll have our status actually set to kicked right here, which means I kicked the person off. All right, so what I want to do right now is I want to look for another person right here that I think is never actually part of that particular channel. So let's go ahead and make use of all right, let's try and make use of this particular person and see what is going to basically happen now. I want to copy this person, and once I go back to this environment, I want to change this to that. So let's save the changes right here, and then if we go back in here and then refresh, the information here is basically going to change, right? And you see that the message account of a change because that person had never been a part of that particular channel. So if you take a look here, you see that participant ID is invalid, right? So what we saw earlier was as a result of the person that I kind of kicked out of the system because I tested with a few of them before now, and we can also still test with another person if we want to. Let's also test with this person and see the kind of message that it's actually going to give. If we go back to our development environment, and let's paste that right there, save the changes, and let's refresh this page. Okay, this person also, look at the status right here. This person left that particular channel. Person is not on the channel right now. So those are the type of messages that you possibly could be receiving from that of from that particular endpoint, which is actually coming from that of the Telegram, right? So, and I hope you guys are kind of understanding what is happening right there. So in a situation where, let me say I want to use this particular person right here, which I'm basically that particular person and I'm already a member of that particular channel. Let's see what it's basically going to give to us. So if we go back in here and then we'll paste this, save the changes, and we'll try to refresh here. So let's see the message that it's basically going to print out for us right here. So we're going to refresh, and you see that this particular person is actually a creator. So I'm the creator of this particular channel. So this is the status right here. All right. And these are my information within that particular place. So that is just that I'm actually a creator. That's my status. All right, guys, so those are the statuses that we can actually get from that of the Telegram. All right, so one thing I know for real is that if someone is actually a part of a Telegram channel, we do have some of the following. So we do have something like creator, and we also have something like administrator. So we even have something like member. Okay, so among some other status that you can also check. All right, so what I want to do right now is that we're going to at a later time check for this status that we have right here. Anybody that is among, if we have a member, we can go ahead and allow the person to claim. I mean, once the person clicks on join, he becomes a member. His status is actually going to change from something like invalid participant to something like member. Or less if the person joined as something like an administrator or something like as a creator, which you are the one to actually authorize these things right here. But the major thing that we're going to actually experience is once they join through our Telegram mini app, they just become member. All right, so once we see this member in the status, we can go ahead and then allow them to claim the coin or the reward that we basically want to give to them. All right, so I want to take this away, but before we get to that, first of all, let me paste this code right here. And what we're basically just checking is that if we actually run the stuff and we are not able to actually get okay from our data right here, which is just like a response coming from that of the Telegram mini app, we can just put a message right here, say invalid API response or API error. All right, so that means we could not actually get any responses from that of the API. So after that, the next thing we want to do is to check for those statuses. So I want to open this right here and then paste, and of course this is just nicely commented out. So remember the status that I just mentioned, we have creator, we have administrator, and then we have member. All right, so once you get that, you want to be sure that whichever one you get from this, you want to go ahead and put that into its own standalone variable, which is actually status right here, which we can use to check and then be able to print out whatever we want to print or a kind of a reward the users. All right, so this is, if you take a look at this right here, we're going to see that this is just an array. All right, so we want to look through the array, go through the array if we have status that is actually set to member or this particular one right here. We want to go ahead and then try to look through that. So I want to paste that in here, and if you take a look at where it begins from here, we're just trying to use the array to actually check, and if we're able to grab a status that is actually set to something like a member, we can say something like user is a member of the channel. All right, and we can go ahead and then print out whatever message or go ahead and then reward them. Else, if we could not actually get any of these things that we have in here right here, right? So if it's a member, if it is a creator, if it is something like administrator, we allow this particular side of the code to actually run. Okay, we're going to just get something like user is a member of the channel, and if we could not actually see the person as a member of the channel, we'll run the code that is actually down here. So it's going to simply say user is not a member of the channel. So that's just basically what that is actually going to do for us, and I think that should just be able to do it, guys. So you can actually go ahead and find your way to see if once we are able to find any of these, either creator, administrator, member, you go ahead and then see how you can actually reward your user. And most of the time you may have to use something like JavaScript in combination with that of the whatever server-side language that you're using to be able to reward them, just to prevent for page refresh. All right, so if we save the changes right here, and we'll go back to our browser, and I want to go in here and then refresh. Maybe there is a service error for now, so we have invalid API response, which is just basically coming from the line that we have up there, meaning this particular line right here. So we couldn't actually get any data, and that is just that for now. But what I'm going to do is that I want to change this person right here and then put that of my own ID. So if we go back in here and then we'll open this up, actually I am a creator at the moment, so I should be found within that particular channel. So if we go to, let's go back to our code right here and then add my own, save the changes, and let's go ahead and then refresh right here. And you see that it works just fine, and it says that a user is a member of the channel, and my status right here is actually creator. Look at it right here. So I'm basically a creator on that particular place. So the same thing will happen if you're a member. It's going to print that the status is a member right here. If you're an administrator, it's going to also print that out right here. Okay, so this is just basically how that works. So I want to copy this code right here, and if we get in here, I just basically want to just put that down here, and we can go ahead and then comment that out. So let's put that as a comment in here. So this is just what it is, guys, and I think that you guys kind of understand this. So one thing I want to let you guys know is that once if you want this to like work seamlessly, you want to this is basically my account right here. So I do have a channel that I have created, which we call the Calamar Coin right here as the name of the channel right here. So if you want this channel to actually work and then your own account to work with this, what you need to do is to make sure that you add your bot. So I have a bot that is actually called the Calamar_bot. All right. So you need to add that particular bot to this particular channel. And then if you want to add the bot, you are adding that bot as an administrator or as a creator, okay, to be able to manage the things that is actually going to happen right here. Otherwise, you wouldn't actually be getting the responses and you won't be able to like carry out this particular type of task, okay. So remember that the point is that you want to add your bot, whatever bot you have, the bot that owns this particular thing right here. So you want to go ahead and then add the bot as a member, not as a member, but something like a creator or an administrator to this particular channel. That way, this particular thing will begin to work, and then you begin to get all of the things that you really need to get within this particular thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting the responses. So I want you to bear that in mind. All right. So I think I will put this particular code in GitHub so that if you want to make use of it, you can practice with it. Then as far as the code for my Telegram mini app, the one I just demoed to you guys, is concerned, is really very simple. I just want to show you guys the code right now, even though the code is not actually meant to be consumed. I would have loved to actually put that into GitHub for you guys to actually download, but it's not actually for I don't want to give the code out right now for people to begin to download and begin to use that particular source code. So this is the code for the task 2 that we just visited initially within this particular video, and I'm just basically, this is just a way of connecting to my database and then trying to fetch some stuff from my database right here. And I'm just basically getting my Telegram user ID right here, which is what I used in trying to subscribe people dynamically. So to dynamically be able to allow people to join my channel, and that is just that. So if you scroll down, this is just the basic HTML that I have on that page, just trying to output a name which is actually on the session. So you don't have to pay attention to this, but this is the real username that I have. The user has on that of the Telegram. It's going to print out the real username right here, and so here we'll put the balance of the person's coins, whatever that he has mined within the system. So right here is where we're working on the tasks. Look at here is where we're working on the tasks. So if you take a look at the code right there, so subscribe to Calamar Coin channel, and this is the URL. Once you hit on it, it's going to take you to the channel right here, which is Calamar Coin, and just like that. So the text you are going to see is perform task, and once you get in and then do whatever you want to do, at the time of actually displaying this particular one right here, these other buttons will actually be hidden. All right, so these ones will be hidden. As you can see, I have styles set to none, 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 the display set to none right there. So that is it. So this is after when you have performed this task, this one can actually come up. And the way that I'm actually doing that, I'm doing that with the JavaScript. So I want to show you the JavaScript down here. So this is JavaScript that is helping us to do that. Here is the JavaScript that's trying to help us verify. And down here, okay, we're going to a PHP script right here where we're basically verifying the stuff right there. So that is just that, guys. So down here we also have where we're claiming. So the JavaScript that helps us claim, without refresh, is just going to add up your balance. All right, so look at the verified join right here, almost the same thing we have done before now, except that if we start from the beginning right here, see that we'll still have the same thing that we got right here. All right, except that this time around this particular one is actually going to come dynamically, so that's why I have that commented out right there. So it comes in dynamically, and that is just that, guys. So this is the endpoint, the same thing. All right, guys, so I hope you guys kind of like that, and then I think I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.